GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports. Live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. And today we're talking Cleveland Browns. This team kind of floated out of nowhere. Started 5-3. They had a 4-game winning streak. They had a 4-game winning streak on 2 occasions. With wins early in the season against Cincinnati, Washington, Baltimore, Indianapolis, and then the second 4-game winning streak they had against Houston, Philly, Jacksonville, and the biggest one of them all was Tennessee in a game that a lot of experts or analysts or whatever projected that they lose. It was kind of back and forth, honestly, and it was one of those games where you really just didn't know. But I think if I remember it right, Cleveland had like the big lead going into the halftime. And I think they still won in large margin of that. So you go through that. They finished the last 6 games 3-3. They clinched in the playoff spot by beating Pittsburgh in the last game. What was it? 24-22, and then defeated them in the wild card game, 48-37, in a game that Pittsburgh still could have came back and won. Then moving on to the next round, facing Kansas City, losing to them 22-17, in a fashion where Cleveland could have came back and won. Cleveland could have won this game, could have sent Kansas City home, but it didn't happen. Key additions. No, let's do key departures on this team. You had a lot of them. Larry Ogunjobi, he went to Cincinnati, defensive tackle. Terrence Mitchell, who's a cornerback, he earned it. I think he was on a 1 or 2 year deal. He went to Houston. Kevin Johnson, who went to Tennessee, he's another corner. Vincent Taylor is a defensive tackle. He went to Houston. Kendall Lamb, who flashed last year. He went to Tennessee. Olivier Vernon, who is not on a team right now. That's crazy because just not too long ago he had signed him a big deal, and then he just floating around the league. Not floating around the league, but he was with another team, and then Cleveland picked him up, or Cleveland might have signed him to a deal, or however it worked. But it just didn't work after that, and he's not even in the league now. B.J. Goodson, Carl Joseph, Andrew Sadejo, more role player guys, rotational guys, still kind of came up big in some sort of way. Marvin Hall, who's a backup. Tevier Thomas, who he went somewhere also. I want to say it was Houston, role player. Tate Davis, who was a former 7th round pick, and then Sheldon Richardson. Key additions, and this is the wild one. This is what makes this team look so much better, even on paper. You add John Johnson III over from the Rams. You add Tack McKinley, who I think you don't drag. Teams hit and miss with first round picks. Some pan out, some don't. I still think that Tack McKinley can be some sort of serviceable in this league after Atlanta didn't really, want anything to do with him. I still think Tack McKinley can bring something to this team in this league. Cornerback Troy Hill, who also came over from LA. Anthony Walker coming over from Indy. Malik Jackson, who is a aging vet, and it just has not been the same since yesteryears. Rashad Higgins returns back. Malcolm Smith. All those guys return back on 1 year deals from like Rashad Higgins, Malcolm Smith, JoJo Natson, Cody Parkey, Elijah Lee. Jadeveon Clowney was the biggest one of them all. And then now I hope to see that Jadeveon Clowney can stay healthy this year. It's a long shot, but we will see. I like to see it. I would like to see him and Myles Garrett on one side, and just how that whole defense orchestrates, because I think this defense is going to be pretty lights out this year. speaking of this defense, they were ranked 22 in the past, 22nd in the past, and they were ranked 9th against the run. So, top 10 run defense team. You add some guys, some corners, and you add some corners, free agents wise and draft wise, to help get that 22 maybe down to the middle of the pack, top 10. I think they're going to be a top 10 defense this year, especially with everything that they brought in, along with a lot of other things. On offensively, this team was ranked 24th in the pass, not a good pass game, but ranked 3rd in the run. So a very good running team led by Nick Chubb, who missed 4 games last year. And then you got Kareem Hunt, who is awesome in the pass game as well as the run game. So you already got that down pat. On third downs, this team offensively is another good stat for them. They were ranked 7th. And on fourth downs, they were ranked 30th. But defensively on third downs, this team was ranked 23rd. So that's another reason why all the key additions and, guys coming in helping with run support and corner help, and they really stocked the room up, and hopefully that defense can get way better, especially on third downs. You don't want to be ranked 23rd in the league on third downs, or 31st on fourth downs. Red zone, 3rd in the red zone on offense, 14th in the red zone on defense, so it's not bad. You're 4 spots out the top 10, but granted the fact, hey, you're not, at least you're not 29th. Put it to you like that. Let's take a look at the Browns offense. Quarterback wise, you got Case Keenum stepping into his 9th year. Kyle Lauletta and Baker Mayfield. Those are your quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield heading into year 4. I believe this is his contract year. And they probably either will extend him, probably working on a deal, or he may be looking at the franchise tag if they can't come up with some type of deal. But he got his interception total down from 2018. 2018, he had 14 interceptions. In 2019, he had 21 interceptions. In 2020, he did not have to distribute the ball like that. He had a good support in the run game where he could just rely on that. Cut that interception number down to 8. So that is absolutely remarkable to go from double digits in 2 years to just one single digit in 2020. Moving on to the running backs, Nick Chubb going into his 4th year. He already got his contract. Nick Chubb had a career high 12 touchdowns last year. Even despite missing 4 games, despite just getting right over 1,000 yards. He got over 1,000 yards, but he, right over that. Kareem Hunt, of course, Trey Harbison, Demetric Felton, who's also a rookie. Trey Harbison's a rookie also. Dearness Johnson, who did fairly well last year. John Kelly. Andy Janovich is the fullback. And Johnny Stanton is another fullback going into his 2nd year. Wide receivers, Odell Beckham Jr. going into his 8th year, and hopefully he can be a healthy OBJ. I think the team worked a little bit better without him, and it just didn't really sit right with me, because I feel like Odell belongs on some kind of championship squad or some sort of winning squad. I just want that guy to win. But maybe things can be a little bit different this year. Maybe they can mix it up, instead of having so much run, then maybe they can mix it up. Because, in this system, you're just going to have run. It's a run dedicated system. Some play action, but we'll see how that goes. Jamarcus Bradley going into his first year. Well, he already played a year, so he probably got hurt or some sort of the nature. Rashad Higgins going to his 6th year. Cordero Hodge going into his 4th year. Alexander Hollins, Jarvis Landry, who led the team in targets. I believe it was right at 101. He had like 70 catches. It was not quite 800 yards, but it was pretty close. So that was your primary receiver last year, up until Odell had went out with the injury, and Odell only played 6-7 games, I want to say. Only had 300 something yards, and he could have been well on his way to big things, but injuries do happen. JoJo Natson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was somebody that I'm really looking at this year to take a big step up. He's going into his 2nd year, so whether that be special teams or whether that be on, in the slot or somewhere, I'm just expecting this guy to make to make some kind of transition. He did a good job last year. Just looking for a little bit more. Rookie Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn, Ryan Switzer going to his 4th year, Davion Davis, who had a pretty good first preseason game. I think he caught a touchdown pass, not showing on the yards, but looked really good for the kid. They've been saying he's looking good in camp, so he's going to his 2nd year, so we'll see how that goes. Ryan Switzer, another guy who's been kind of bounced everywhere, more on a special teams specialist kind of thing. So maybe that's what he's there for, and that support. Tight end wise, Harrison Bryant, I was expecting big things out of Harrison Bryant. He kind of blossomed on the scene, but it's just a little sample size. It wasn't really enough. Going into his 2nd year, Steven Carlson, Connor Davis, Jordan Franks, and then you got the 2 big ones, Austin Hooper and David Njoku. Now, I talk about David Njoku not even being past this year. It was kind of some speculation of him being traded at the trade deadline, but nothing got done, and he's still there. Austin Hooper had 70 targets last year, 46 catches for 435 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's okay tight end numbers, but he could kind of, that can kind of increase a little bit. Harrison Bryant, his numbers are 38 targets, 24 receptions off 238 yards and 3 touchdowns, so not bad. David Njoku, who was the guy outside looking in, 29 targets, 19 catches with 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of production out of that. And maybe he could be a trade candidate going into week 1 for a team who needs a tight end. David Njoku is also coming up on, I believe, a contract year. He wants to get paid, man. And he's going to his 5th year. He wants to get paid, as do everybody else, and you want production. So he could be a trade candidate. Be on the lookout for that. Going to the offensive line, Nick Harns going to his 2nd year, Javon Patterson, J.C. Treader, who was pretty good last year, 9 and going into his 9th year. Joel Petonio going into his 8th year, Michael Dunn, Drew Forbes, Colby Gossett, Blake Hentz, and Wyatt Teller, who also did an awesome job last year. On the tackle spot, Jack Conklin, Chris Hubbard, James Hudson III, Greg Sinnett, Alex Taylor, and Jedrick Wills, who was one of the surprises of them all. Jedrick Wills was a rookie, just like Tristan Wirfs, exceeded expectations. A lot of people didn't think that they were going to be that good, but they showed their asses last year, and good for them, because that's something that Cleveland needed. Let's go into this defense. On the defensive line, you got Jadeveon Clowney, and hopefully that situation can be a lot better. Tennessee has signed him, I'm not sure of the games played, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't over 5. I'm pretty sure it wasn't over 3. It was very, very sample size, very limited size. Um, just not enough. And hopefully, with him on the other side of Myles Garrett, with Myles Garrett being, I think, the better of the two, Garrett can take on the double teams, and maybe they can free Jadeveon up. Maybe this is Jadeveon's year. I want to put him as one of my players to watch, but I'm just not sure yet. Granted, the fact that you're watching everybody. Myles Garrett going to his 5th year. I believe he got a big contract. He had 12 and a half sacks, I want to say, last year. Porter Gostin, Joe Jackson, Cameron Malvo, Tack McKinley going to his 5th year. He's still got a lot to prove. I like Tack McKinley out of UCLA. He's still got a lot to prove, but I think this kid, I see some things in this kid. Ever since that draft day when he held his grandmother's picture up, it's like these guys got something to prove. He's got to be in that right situation, and hopefully this could be the right situation, being that this defense is slated to step up big this year. Romeo McKnight, who's a rookie, Curtis Weaver, and then you got Andrew Billings, Sheldon Day, Jordan Elliott, Malik Jackson, the vet, going into his 10th year. Malik McDowell, Damian Square, Tommy Togu. I just said, I apologize if I blank on your name. Tommy Togaya. Marvin Wilson, who's a rookie. Togaya is also a rookie. In the linebacker spot, Tony Fields II, who's a rookie. Elijah Lee going to his 5th year. Jeremiah Owusu Cormore. And for those who saw JOK as what they like to call him because his name is so long, but if you saw tape on him in his first preseason game this past weekend, he had 8 tackles, he had a sack, he was all over the field. And that's what they need. That's the type of linebacker that they need. He flies to the play. He's everywhere, man. And I was just so impressed. That's something that they need, and that's another boost to this defense. Why I think this defense is going to be really, really good this year. Jacob Phillips, Malcolm Smith, the vet, Sione Takitaki, Anthony Walker coming over from Indy, and then you got Mac Wilson going to his 3rd year. Another impressive position I would like to point to is the cornerbacks. You got Brian Allen going to his 3rd year, AJ Green, Troy Hill, another spot, 6-year player. He's stepping into a new environment, and hopefully he's gonna definitely help that secondary out a lot. Who was ranked 24th in the past. So you add Troy, Robert Jackson going to his 3rd year, Gregory Newsome, whom you drafted in the 1st round. Some people might think he took him a little early, but I think that they got them a nice piece at corner. As long as he stays healthy, he does have an injury history. So they did a good job with bringing some depth in. I think he's going to be a very good corner in this league, long as he stays healthy. Emmanuel Rugamba as a rookie, MJ Stewart going into his 4th year, Denzel Ward, the man of that secondary, and Denzel Ward in his 3-year career, 7 interceptions. He's had, I want to say, 3 in 2018. He had 2 in 2019, 2 in 2020, 7 interceptions in a 3-year span, 18 pass deflects last season. Another stat, another feat that I want to give off. In 2018, Denzel Ward he was targeted 90 times and had 46 completions on him, which gave him a 51 completion percentage. That's marvelous. In 2019, he was targeted 83 times completed against 40 times. They gave him a 48.2. And I believe in one of those years he might have been kind of out, but it wasn't like out for the season type thing. And then last year, 80 times he was targeted, 44 times completed against, for a grand total of 54 completion percentage. If that ain't awesome, he is definitely one of the best corners in this league that is not getting talked about because he's in Cleveland, because he's not in the big market. And I overlooked him myself. So, yeah. And you also got Greedy Williams from LSU, who's hopefully he can come in and contribute and have a big year himself. In the safety position, Elijah Benton, Grant Delpit, who was injured, and hopefully he comes in and recovers from that. Ronnie Harrison, who they got from the Jaguars last year in a trade. John Johnson III, another big spot right there. They needed some sort of safety help because of what they had. It just wasn't it. So you bring a guy who is experienced in postseason, experienced in good teams, and John Johnson III and Troy Hill coming from winning environments. Richard LeCounte, who comes from Georgia, rookie, who's expected to make some big splashes here. You got Javante Moffett and Sheldrick Redwine, who's been with the team for 3 years. On the special team side of the ball, Chase McLaughlin going to his 3rd year as a kicker. Cody Parkey going to his 7th year. And Jamie Gillian going to his 3rd year as the punter. Hopefully this could be a good year for Cody. We'll see. Going over these rookies that they got, the top 2 that I'm most proud of is the Greg Newsome. As long as he stays healthy, man, him and Denzel Ward in that secondary could be a nice no-fly zone. Oh, not to mention, speaking of no-fly zone, the defensive coordinator at the time for the no-fly zone of the Denver Broncos was Joe Woods, who is the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator right now. Knows a thing or two about cornerbacks, knows a thing or two about putting good secondaries together, and there's no doubt in my mind that he would do special things with this one. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK, who they got in the 2nd round, fell a little late, but I think they got it right on this one also. Round 3, they picked Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn. Round 4, they got offensive tackle James Hudson out of Cincinnati. Tommy Tagui, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Tony Fields, the 2nd linebacker out of West Virginia. In round 5, also in round 5, they got Richard LeCounte, the safety out of Georgia, safety linebacker out of Georgia, and Demetric Felton, wide receiver out of UCLA in round 6. The first 5 games for this team, I ain't gonna lie, it is pretty tough. At Kansas City, then you back at home against the Texans and the Bears. Then you're on the road in Minnesota, and then you're on the road at the Chargers. Chargers might not be a hard game because they don't really have any fans there. You wish they do have fans there. You wish that fans can kind of gravitate that environment. We'll talk about that when we get to the Chargers. But that's mainly, if a lot of Cleveland fans go there, that's mainly like a home game for them. But yeah, I see at the Chiefs, that's already tough. That's a rematch of the AFC divisional round game, in which a game that they could have won. It's a big rematch on that. That's week 1. So that's, get your popcorn ready. That's something to look forward to. At the Texans, well, not at the Texans, but at home against the Texans, Bears, depending on who their quarterback situation is, at the Vikings, and at the Chargers. So no division matchups, but you got some pretty tough ones right there. I think this team has what it takes to go all the way. I really do. I'm not going to say that it's a Super Bowl pick, but they're definitely in the running because of how they're built. And I think that they're so talented all over the ball, offensively, defensively. It's definitely one of my teams to watch this year. Right now we in AFC North territory in 32 teams, 32 days. And I think that the AFC North will probably be one of the tough divisions. And other than the NFC West, the AFC North has some good teams. You got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, you got the Browns, and then you got the Bengals on the rise. So that's going to be one tough cookie to even win. I can't wait to even wait for this thing to jump off. But we're gonna see how it goes. And that is it. My name is Larry Patterson, coming to you for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in, and until